I always wanted to learn about the development of punk rock from the New York underground to the London bar scene. If only there was something I could do to learn. There's got to be a better way.
Punk rock is sound.
It was done with drugs, attitude, youth, and a record collection.
Punk rock is fashion.
Me in fashion at the time knew fully well that if I had an idea, the way for that idea to work would be to channel it through music.
Punk rock is attitude.
Right now it's time to sing out the dance, motherfucker!
I'm Kevin Hogan, and this is Beautiful Garbage, a limited series from Osiris Media that tells the story of how America unleashed punk rock on the world. When I was 10 years old, I bought an album at a flea market because the guy's name was Hell. I thought it would be heavy metal, AC/DC, Judas Priest. It was far from that, and it set me on a 40-year journey discovering punk rock. And this is what I've learned. Over 6 episodes, we'll trace how social and economic factors provided a catalyst for what would become feared and revered as music that is subversive and dangerous. Music that is beautiful garbage. Coming April 20th from Osiris Media. Available at osirispod.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Okay, spin the wheel.
Welcome back to wook+live. Oh man, that was a packed intro. That trailer you heard there, that audio was our very own Great Wen has a podcast coming out on Osiris the end of the month on 420. Oh shit, that's not even the end of the month. That's next week.
Yeah, next Tuesday.
Yep. We decided to reverse slogan it there. Very well done, Llama. A little hit or miss. I wasn't sure if you're gonna make it, but
Nailed it.
Nailed it. And then we brought a new feature on this show. I think we're going to bring that back, the Wheel of Intros. We have so many ideas in this group and just so much content flying around. It gets tough to choose what to do. So we just set it up to randomly select what we do, and it went Mario. Badass. We're going to have a really fun show today. We have the one and only Karina Rykman coming on in a minute. Phenomenal bass player, Marco Benevento, and she does a lot of solo stuff too. I want to get into all sorts of things with her. And then she's actually with Baker, who all of you guys know because she's a regular on the channel, a co-host of the after show and been on this show. So that'll be fun catching up with Baker too and having her here. Do you guys want to just go right into Karina? I feel like nobody really wants to hear us talk today. Like everybody's showing up to hear them.
I agree. Hey, Kev, Chris wants to know, is 420 picked on purpose?
I do believe that the powers that be at Osiris did pick that on purpose, yes.
I guess we should get the other plugs out too. We have the Grateful Bracket coming on 420 also. So listen to Kev's podcast, vote in the Grateful Bracket, tune in the wook+ for great content.
Boom.
And then whatever other plugs we come up with. All right. Well, without further ado, I think the other bits, by the way, we're just going to freestyle. We'll just throw them in when it feels natural.
Sounds good.
All right. Without further ado,
do it.
ladies and gentlemen, Karina Rykman and Baker. Hey guys.
Yay!
Hey!
Welcome.
to wook+live.
Feels
That
great
wa-
to be here at wook+live, guys. Thank you.
Happy to be back.
Excellent.
Awesome. So you dropped a big announcement recently. I don't know if it's big, but it's exciting for me. You are going back on tour. That is very exciting. I wanted to start there because I live in Philly and your opening is in Philly. So I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see live music. You're actually going to be the first live music I've seen in a year.
Oh my
wife
God.
and I. So yeah, we are really excited about
Wow.
that.
It's a lot of pressure, but I love it. Yeah, no, that's good. That is
Have you played live? I mean, I know you were doing the backyard shows, but have you gone on tour yet this year? Is this your
This will be
first
my-
outing?
This is my coming out party for sure of that variety. Yeah, no, I've done a bunch of backyard gigs, luckily, and we knock on wood as we say that. But yeah, this is the first, and it's not post-COVID because we're living through it and it's like figuring it out. But we can call it the post-COVID sort of tour. Yeah, it's.
Well, I think we're turning the corner as long as people get their shit together, right? And people don't act a fool. But I mean, is there like I guess there's always some level of anxiety or stress with playing live and being in front of people. Well, at least for me. I don't know if there's for you, but like, is there some extra for this situation under these circumstances? Is there like more excitement, more nerves?
Big time. I mean, it's daunting and it's exciting, and I feel like a horse in the stable. You know what I mean? I'm like ready to go. I'm like, somebody let me out. In a good way. But she loves it. She's laughing. Anyway, no, it's super exciting, and mostly like I just really want to come in really hot. You know what I mean? And like just like hit the ground running, make people stoked, God willing, and like you, this is the first live music you're gonna see in a year, just about.
Yeah, over it. The last time I saw live music was Rescue Squad.
Oh
which
my
feels
God.
like a century ago. So
It's gonna be that's really intense. Really intense.
I mean, Trey stuck up in the rafters of a machine. There's not that much to live up to. You'll be fine.
No, that was a special thing.
Wait, that was your last show?
That was his last show.
Yeah, New Year's Eve.
Oh,
I mean,
I wasn't there, so I didn't know that there was that was your last show.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was there. That is crazy.
Was that talk about anxiety though? By the way, everybody else thought it was part of the bit. I was on the bridge, the Chase Bridge, so I could like see his face really clearly. Holy shit! I like almost had a heart attack when that happened. When it jerked, and Trey's like, he got that inhale. I was like, oh my God.
It was scary. We were all like, is this this isn't good. This is not, this is bad. Yeah, no, that was crazy. So wow. So I'll try not to get stuck in the rafters at my show, and yeah, it'll be great. Yes, great wins.
When you tour before COVID, you played a lot because you were out playing every night while you were touring. How do you compensate for that over the period of COVID? Did you just rehearse twice as much, practice twice as much to keep your chops up?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I've coped with that poorly because it's difficult, and but yeah, no, all bullshit aside, like yeah, I've been thankfully sort of in a lot of ways I've been let off the hamster wheel of tour, which was a big part of my life where it was just like you're either adjusting to tour life or adjusting to home life from tour life, and it's just like this constant like you're never really in one place, you're never really whatever. So I've been in New York City for the past however long, and have been able to write in a way that was more solidified and grounded and less like, oh shit, I'm on tour again, I can't think about writing right now, like oh, okay, I'll write for a few days, but I'm, you know what I mean, like just like my head in 100 different fucking places.
So have you been doing a lot more writing now that you've with the isolation and everything?
A ton. No, that's like what I'm really like, I'm honestly grateful in a lot of ways to have the opportunity to like crack down on my own stuff in a way that I kind of never had. You know, I didn't make the time. I didn't have the time. Now I feel like I have the time, the space. I got a studio.
I saw pictures with the lights and stuff.
Yeah,
it looks super dope.
It's the world's smallest, but it's just what I need. You know what I mean? It is quite literally like a 12 by 8 little loft, you know, and there's like, you go up and I call it the Purple Palace because I decked it out with purple shit. And like, there's beanbags, It's awesome. It's really fun. But then, like, it's perfect for my trio. You can rehearse with a 4-piece. There's a drum kit, 2 vintage guitar amps, my bass rig, my pedals. Now we got vocal mic in the building.
Oh, shit.
It's great. So yes, I've been compensating by writing my ass off and playing as much as possible. But to be honest, nothing makes up for being on the bandstand, which is what I would say if I was 70 years old.
Yeah. Gotta get on the bandstand. See, it's gonna be fun.
That's not how G.E. Smith would do it. Let me tell you. Oh, how would G.E. play it? How would G.E. do it? Yeah. Anyway, totally.
You record in that studio, or is it just a rehearsal space?
You can record. Well, basically, now I got a Midas 32 channel mixer up top.
32 channels. Wow, look at you.
For a little bass.
For a trio, it's like you only need like 8 of them.
You got a lot of inputs for the drums. You want to get that shit sounding crispy. Let me tell you. So I will be able to record there. Will I want to? We'll see. We'll see. I wanted the ability to, honestly, more for videos that I want to create in there, because I want to be able to like do like a multi-track thing, record it, film it, do the thing, whatever. But like, am I going to record something that I put out there in terms of like music? God willing, but like, who's to say? I've been working with this producer very closely and very intensely for the past like month, who's my dear friend from high school. His name is Gabe Monroe, and he works with a lot of hip hop, a lot of electronic, like lots of stuff, but he's a better bass player than anybody I know, and is more like genre fluid in the way that I am, and like speaks metal, speaks punk, speaks hip hop, speaks
less myopic, and
he's got all that shit going on. So anyway, I've been working with him in his studio and cranking out a lot of shit there. So that's.
But I guess it's cool to have the home studio too, just to like get down ideas in a slightly more recognizable form than just recording it on your phone.
Look, this is my home studio. This is my like, we got a Rhodes, we got.
Is that Pac-Man? Is that Pac-Man?
Just in case. Yes.
This used to be my room, but they got rid of the beds.
All right.
Wait, Baker. So you guys live together?
No. But Baker used to live in Florida.
When I lived in Florida.
She would come here
and stay here.
And she'd stay in this room.
So how did you guys meet? How far back do you guys go?
We go back to when I was all of 16 years old.
Whoa.
Maybe 15. And Baker was like this cool, older, not too old, but older.
Slightly older.
Slightly older. We met through Fish, to be perfectly.
We met through Fish. We have a mutual friend who knows Karina through one of her roommate, actually, and introduced us, and we kind of fell in love. And actually, Karina really made me fall in love with her because she did a high school project where she interviewed Trey, and she showed me the raw footage, and I was like, just dying because
I'm assuming you were already a fan, Karina, at that point.
Yeah.
Our first show was the same day.
Yeah. We have the same first show, which is the third night of Jones Beach 2000.
I was going to say that because Baker was on our show. I asked her that question. I knew it was Jones Beach. I couldn't remember what night. That's awesome.
The third night.
It was 09, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then Baker was always a good, like, when it was fun for me as a like 15, 16-year-old kid, like just getting into all this stuff and like cracking the code on how all these people knew to clap during Stash at the same time. And how do they know when to say Wilson, like in unison, like, and it was all just like unlocking this shit. And I was transcribing it and playing it. And like, just my mind was being blown. And Baker was just like this person who lived and died for this shit, but like, wasn't like, you take your double dose on the first day, you triple by the third day, you're sucking down a 10 strip just trying to catch a buzz. You know what I mean?
I love the old-timey acid head.
She has the best accent.
She wasn't like one of those people who frightened me at the time. I was like, whoa. She was like,
That was Kevin. That was great when.
I gave her rides and I gave you rides. Like
corrupter of youth. She's a corrupter of youth.
Definitely, but like really a nice one. And like,
no corruption. She's keeping me straight.
I'm 27 now, still no license, but back then there was really no license, and me and all my friends with the tickets, we were like, let's go. Who's going to drive us? Oh shit. Hey, maybe this woman, Lauren Baker, that I met would drive us. And I'd be like, yo. And then she was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll drive you.
Yeah, I imagine. I've not gone to a show with Lauren, but I imagine that's a fun person to be at a show with.
We are the two best people to see a show with.
It's great.
Like with each other.
It's great.
We rage the show. We have our own thing. I can go my way. She can go her way. There's no like, where are you? What are you doing?
Yeah.
We're down. We can both groan at the same songs that we don't like. She can tell me to like Lawn Boy more than I do. She's like, come on, I like this. And I could be like, I still don't.
You both probably get recognized at shows, I imagine.
So walking through the gardens like, Baker, skinny little legs. Little legs, Baker. Like,
Have you been running into that, Karina? Like, do people recognize you at shows? Do you get like, people coming up and being like, hey, I love your stuff or anything like that?
Oh yeah, no, and that's the only place. The only place where I'm a celebrity is inside the Fish show. And like if I go to Panic or whatever, like at jam band shows, like people recognize me, but nowhere else. No, well, it's like I've been recognized. Yeah. But there, it's like a thing, So I'm like, wow. And I just went from being like this nerdy little kid who just like found herself.
Nerd.
Well, I found myself there, you know what I mean? And I was just like, this is like, all I wanted was to be inside of it in like I was ready to be a janitor. I was ready to be a ticket taker. I was ready to be a manager. I was ready to be anything such that I could be in the energy forever.
So what was the order then? Were you already doing music and playing bass when you found this world? Or was that like a way in or kind of both simultaneously?
I was playing before, certainly. And I was in like, I was in my first punk band in 8th grade, which came before that.
Yeah.
My man. Yeah, that's it. That's my great win. And I was playing mostly guitar, less bass, but like guitar and bass simultaneously and stuff. But I was fully into music. Like I knew music was my umbrella for life. Whatever that would mean was TBD. But like I certainly played in 5 bands that were going nowhere, and I was really into it in the biggest of ways. And I was like interning at a management company and then interning for Relics and then interning for Rocksoft and then working for Rocksoft, doing all this stuff. But then, yeah, Fish came into my life like by accident, just by virtue of being friends with Trey's kids and going to that first show. That was our first show. And it was then that my tastes sort of pivoted a little bit, and I found this thing that I wanted to know everything about. Like I was like, wait, your dad is in this band? What is up with this band? This band is fucking crazy. Like,
yeah. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but that was it. I mean,
I can imagine for musicians too, or people that understand music at a little bit of a higher level, or at least a technical level, Fish is also appealing on that level. Like there's the scene and the energy and everything. But then when you hear like what Mike's doing and what the band's doing and the grooves that they establish, I'm not really at your level at all, but like just having some knowledge of music, it turns me on. I can imagine somebody who has spent their life like really getting good and proficient on an instrument would really be turned on by that.
I was, like you say, kind of at that time, really into like virtuosic music, and I was really into metal, and I was really into like, guitar solos that took a lot to play. I was into like Dimebag Darrell and Randy Rhoads and Hetfield and like all these guys that were just like how do they do that? And I felt that from Trey.
Yeah.
Off the bat. And I was like, you enjoy myself. I'm like, how does he play that? That's amazing. You know what I mean? And like all of that.
It's unbelievable.
It totally was. And yeah, so totally on a purely, musicianship level, no doubt, but more than that, like, and I still like, we could nerd out all day, but there's no band that inhabits a space like this band. You know what I mean? Energy.
I do. Yeah. Well, it's coming from the band and it's also coming from the audience, which I guess in return came from the band, right? Because they established that setting, but just even from the lot, you show up at lot, you open your door, even driving into the lot, you have your window down, you get that buzz, you get those goosebumps, right? The energy in the world just starts changing. Totally. And you get out and you're hanging out and the lights go down. And yeah, that it's weird. That's a very tangible, real thing that we all like to talk about amongst ourselves. And I don't know if it can really be translated well to other people. Like, I don't know you can explain it, right? Like you kind of just have to feel that feeling to understand that.
Totally.
It's my favorite thing ever.
Like, it's like the most intoxicating drug ever created.
Like you just made me feel euphoric. Like I have been feeling like great lately, and you just made me feel like just describing all that stuff just made me just.
I think I'm gonna actually. I hate to pause these interviews because they're so much fun, but I think I need to catch myself. We actually have a lesson from Llama about becoming a bass player, and we thought it would be appropriate today. So if you guys want a free lesson, here we go.
Lessons from Llama. Lessons from Llama. You might learn something new. Maybe not. Lessons from Llama.
Hello and welcome to Lessons with Llama. Today we're going to learn about the bass guitar. Step 1. Put down your regular guitar and go buy a bass guitar. That has been today's Lesson with Llama.
You just heard a lesson from Llama. Yeah. Llama.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know how well those translate to people, but I fucking love those.
I think they're great. That was she's dying. She's having a.
Oh, goddamn, Llama.
Really, really funny.
I found it insightful and delightful. I'm not gonna lie to you.
She's like, that's exactly right.
That's right.
I'm gonna bring Llama in. Llama, you paying attention?
Llama.
Yeah, I'm paying attention.
Your lessons are so valuable, man. Holy
Thank you.
shit.
No, tell me more, because that was wild. That was sick. I really like that. That was.
Yeah.
You play the bass, Llama?
No, I have a guitar though. I don't have a bass.
Take your own advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we have a pitch meeting once a week, and we're like, oh, we really got to do a bass one. And he's like, step number 1, get a bass. I was like, that's perfect.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. I have a question, and I'm gonna butcher it, so I don't want to set up too much, but it's basically your order of the sequence with Dave and how you met Dave and what it was like to get that call from him. So Dave Drewitz is a bass player for Ween, and my understanding, and maybe you can elaborate on this, is he was kind of the guy who hooked you up with Marco and brought you into that band and got things essentially really rolling.
Oh yeah, and like completely.
And so how did you meet Dave? How did that all come together?
So I, in high school, I went to this sort of, call it an after school program or like a rock school called Tomatoes House of Rock, which was an offshoot of the School of Rock that this gentleman named Tomato, who is the singer and the drummer of a band called The Sound of Urchin, he started this rock school and like took all of his like School of Rock kids with him basically, and like it was on 38th and 8th Ave in Manhattan. It was like a crazy place that we all just basically, you'd go, you pick a set list with your friends, you learn the songs, and you have shows. And like that's where I got really good.
That sounds awesome.
It's really honestly like that, like just having like, you know, being accountable for like, if you don't learn your songs, you know, you're going to show up on Friday and like not know your songs, and then all these other people will know the song, and then you're just going to feel like an asshole.
And so you guys did like weekly shows? That was like a different set?
Weekly rehearsals, but then like quarterly shows, essentially.
Okay.
And I'll cut to the chase. One of the shows that we had was, you know, we would have different special guests come and pick the set list and perform with us. And one of them was a Gene Ween show. And so Gene Ween came and picked the set list for us. No, it was at Rockwood, actually. But Gene Ween came, picked the set list, and we did like amazing tunes. We did, you know, Tell Me Something Good by Shaka Khan. We did Boy in the Bubble by Paul Simon. We did Working for FCA by Skinnerd. We did In the Air Tonight, a bunch of tunes. It was really sweet. But anyway, Drywitz would come to those rehearsals. And like, that's where he saw me play for the first time when I was all of 16, you know, and I think I was playing Tell Me Something Good on the bass or whatever. He was just like, you're awesome. And I was like, thanks, I love your band. And then we just became slowly but surely just like, we palled out over there. And then, you know, I remember one Mountain Jam, maybe like a year later, 2 years later, he came up to me and he was like, Karina. And I was like, oh shit, he remembers me. No way. And he was like, I want you to play guitar in my power trio, Crescent Moon. And I was like, this would be the greatest honor of my life. You know what I mean? Like I was so like, Dave's asking me to do anything. This is unbelievable. So that power trio was the aforementioned tomato guy playing drums, Drywitz on bass, and me on guitar. And we did like a bunch of sweet gigs, including like opening for Living Color at the Bowl and lots of cool stuff. Anyway, so I became pals with Drywitz through all of that. And then there I was, you know, I was 22, about to graduate from NYU, undergrad and whatever. And then Ween comes back aggressively, you know, after not being around for 4 years. And then, you know, Marco Tour, J-Rad, Ween, all this stuff. And Drywitz was kind of like, you know, he was like 51 years old at the time. He's like, Karina,
I can't do all this shit.
I've got miles on me, you know, and whatever. And basically,
I can't keep up. I need help.
He went to Marco and just said, like, hey, you know, like, I need a sub for these dates because, like, you know, Ween, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. Marco was like, yeah, of course. And
Marco understands, right? Like, it's Ween. Like, that makes
we're
sense.
We're all ridiculously huge Ween fans around here, you know? So Marco was like, oh, of course. And then Drywitz was like, the only person I want to fill in for me is Karina. And Marco was like, that's great. I love Karina. Let's give her a shot, you know? And no rehearsal, no nothing. I mean, no audition, no nothing. One rehearsal a month before the first 3 gigs.
Wow.
Never again. And the next time I was like, goodbye. And then a month later, we're on stage. Like, at
I guess the history tells that you picked it up, no problem, and fit right in, right? Because I don't know, like you're here and everything was successful. So I'm assuming you picked right up.
Well, that was
dedicated.
Oh, I took it to
takes it seriously.
Right. I was like literally like
all day.
I was writing my thesis at the time. Like it was literally like I had a full-time job with this company called Rocks Off that put on these concert cruises that went around Manhattan. Like I was literally the GM of a company finishing NYU and then got them called to be in Marco's band, of whom I was a huge fan since I was young, you know, and it was a great honor to me. And also like Ween, it's Ween and Fish for me. Like this is like, that's it. You know what I mean? That's my shit. So anyway, it was a big.
So when Fish plays Roses, you just like, all right, I'm done. I'm in heaven.
Exactly. No, it's the holy duo for me.
That's how I found out that Ween existed when Karina told me that Roses was covered. I had no idea.
She's a good noob.
I am the queen of noobs.
So all of that was great. And then, I just stepped in and then we kind of like, you know, I was like Dave's fill-in when he couldn't do the dates. You know what I mean? So like throughout that was April. That was
Wait, did Dave call you or did Marco or how did that come through? Like, did Dave tell you that he was going to do that? Like that he was going to set you up in that gig ahead of time or?
Well, Dave was like, you know, there was a moment there where Dave was like, Karina, like, you know, I'm going to have these conflicts and I think you'd be a really good fit for the market. And like blah blah blah, and I was like, of course I will do it. You just let me know. You let me know. I'm like, I'm over here, baby. You let me know. And whatever. And then I got the text from Marco on December 15th, 2015. It just said, Karina, April, baby, I need you. I want you. Woohoo! Like whatever. Like, and I remember I was like, what? Yeah. And I was just like, holy shit. And then just, you know, spent the next few months just like shedding. I lived and breathed these tunes. Like any other shit that I was doing was also while listening to these like I think I listened to nothing but Marco for months and I learned like 40 of his songs, you know? Like I learned.
So it was an overview of like his solo stuff, his duo stuff.
No duo stuff.
No duo stuff.
This was purely I was filling in his trio. So it was his music, a few select covers, but no, he doesn't play duo songs in his set.
Okay. Cool.
So it was all his stuff, but spanning like, you know, earlier albums that are much more like kind of like odysseys of, you know, instrumental epics that kind of follow a path. And then more recent stuff that was more like, you know, verse, chorus, verse, jam, verse, chorus, verse, you know? So it was, which is exactly what I like. Like I'm an eclectic, I like all of it. You know what I mean? It's really interesting for me to fall into. And then of course, like I can't talk enough about how Marco and I are like energy wise and like karmically just aligned in this way that I wasn't privy to at the time. You know, I was like, Marco's awesome, but I don't know him personally like that.
They are like, it's beyond.
So we have a really amazing, I mean, call it chemistry. I hate, like, you know, we have great chemistry. I hate that. It's terrible. But you know what I mean? Like,
it's a reason certain things are cliche, though. I mean, it's
exactly right.
Totally. So I don't know how I found myself there, but except I just explained it to you, and it's still. And by the way, my first ever Marco gig is today, the 14th.
April 14th.
Let me tell you,
at the
first ever. No.
I was there.
You were there. That was on the 16th.
You're
literally
right.
5 years ago today, to the day, was my first ever Marco gig.
Nice.
Wow. So what
Anniversary.
What was that?
I'm pouring one plus.
Mind your home studio.
Nah, I'm just kidding, guys. That's exciting. We didn't even plan it like that. I announced my first like real solo tour today. We're on wook+live today. Baker's in the building today. You're making her feel so much better about everything. This is great. So 5 years ago, I played my first Marco gig, and it was at the Sinclair in Boston. And then 2 days later was
I always
Music
think
Hall.
it was that year because it was my first.
That was the first like hometown gig. Was 2 days later in Brooklyn.
Right.
It was amazing to watch her play. It was.
Yeah.
What a crazy 5 years. Like, holy shit, right?
I think about it sometimes, and when I'm like, because I have definitely the personality where I'm just like, I don't know why. I think it's I come from a very stable, settled family like that, like who are just like, we've lived in this, my parents live in the same apartment since 1988. They've had the same job since 1975.
Wow.
Just like extremely settled. And I feel like I have the capacity for more stimulation than anybody. Like, I'm just like, wow.
You have a strong base. I mean, that's key. Having this solid foundation, you can build on it.
So I'm kind of just like, what's next? What's next? Let's do it. Yes, you know, or whatever. So then sometimes, and like, especially this last year of like the quieter, more meditative moments where you have to sit like with yourself and be like, you know, whatever. Thanks, Serious Sean. Great. It feels great. It's unbelievable, actually. Anyway, no, all of that said, you know, I feel like I have an endless capacity to do things, and that's why I love the road. I love live shows. I love all this stuff because like I'm like kind of a bottomless pit for it in this funny way, but I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, fuck yeah, it's great. 5 years.
I don't know. I can listen though. I dig it.
Wild 5 years.
It's been a wild 5 years, so I remind myself in those quieter moments. I remind myself, holy shit, what has happened to you in these 5 years in the best way? You know what I mean? Like, you remember.
Is there anything that you haven't gotten that you've been wanting to do, or maybe that recent with this time down, like being reflective, like, hey, when we're all up and running, I really want to do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is there any uncharted territory that you're looking to go to?
I just I want to be a solo artist, if you will. That sounds, again, I hate saying corny shit like that. Oh, I'm a solo artist, but you know what I mean? Like, I want to make music under my own name and push it to the masses
and get the ears on it.
Lots of fun shit, and see, like, you know, my music is so like, I don't want to be like I'm fearless, but like I literally, like, I don't care if I have an instrumental track followed by a super heavy track, followed by a super heady track, followed by a super electronic track, followed by, you know, me doing like my Beck impression. You know what I mean? Like, and that's
the old-timey guy on the bandstand in between, just like narrating. Right now, Karina does electronica.
Just guys and dolls. No, totally. That's not how G.E. Smith would have played it. Let me tell you, if he was on the bandstand, G.E. Smith would not have done it like that. No, but all bullshit aside.
A punk version of Guys and Dolls.
Exactly.
Wait, is that the one with I've Got Rhythm?
Yeah. The uncharted territory is just keeping going with the, you know, I feel like I've scratched the surface of like, I've barely scratched the surface of all the music I want to write and all the shows I want to play and all whatever comes with it. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
that's doing that, playing with Marco. I got to play with John Medeski in a backyard 2 weekends ago. Like, all the amazing
badass
stuff, you know, it's all just like, you know, just sharing the music with people is the richness of my life.
You do a lot of collaborations, and I've talked to other musicians, And I know this is like, you can't answer. You have to be PC about it. I get it. So I'll try to set it up to where it's not an uncomfortable situation.
Okay.
Not saying it's your favorite, but is there a particular collaboration or artist you've worked with that just sticks out in your head for whatever reason as being a highlight, or someone that you've really enjoyed playing with? I'm not saying, like, we're not ranking. We're not saying that everyone else sucks, but like, I'm just curious, like, as one that might stick out that you've really enjoyed playing with, because you played with a lot of great musicians.
Thank you.
I'm doing the PC stuff for her. I'm making it. I'm trying to get it set up.
It's like everyone is equal. We give out no trophies here. No one gets a trophy. Sorry.
I get a trophy.
Baker gets a trophy. Well,
For nothing.
I know I just mentioned him, but like I mentioned him for a reason. Like all of this stuff that's happened in the last 5 years, like the idea to me at 13, thinking like that I would like play with John Medeski when I was in my bedroom listening to MMW, again, thinking I was unlocking the secrets to the universe in a dark, like seriously, really, really like that. And he's like my dear friend, you know what I mean? And like, he texts me like, dude, I love you. I want to be you when I grow up. Let's do that again. Anytime, anybody's backyard, I'm fucking there. Like that's shit you can't make up in my brain. You know what I mean? So like, that's a huge one for me. And I know it just happened, but it bears repeating because like, I love that guy. He's an epic human. All these people,
epic human.
The beautiful thing about our little world here, and when I say our little, I mean, like, you know, I don't want to be like the jam scene, but like these people, you know, who I've looked up to for so long, they're nice people. They're honest, good people. And I don't know if you would, you know, it's hard to meet your heroes a lot of the time, you know?
Yeah.
I wonder if I was saying that if I was in a different world, you know what I mean? If I had gone like the heavy metal direction, like would I be sitting here being like, you know, all these people are the most wholesome, incredible people? I don't know. Maybe. I hope
I don't know. It's funny you say that though, because I hear stories all the time about meeting famous people or athletes or other musicians, and most times 9 out of 10 it's like, he was kind of a dick. And like I always get it because there's like that caveat of like, yeah, well, they're just living their life and like you're intruding into their life, right? But in this scene specifically, when you meet or get an opportunity to work with like the heroes of the scene, it's almost unanimously good stories, right? Like it's always like, yeah, they have great energy, a good vibe. You know, I've heard some iffy stories about a couple of people, but for the most part, it's good.
I mean, knock on wood, if you will, but I have been so, call it lucky or whatever it is, to have played with all these people that I've admired since I was a literal child, and for them to like recognize something in me and be like, you're cool, let's do stuff, like is unbelievable to me. And then being like, you know, Nels Klein, another good one. Nels Klein, you fucking like, he's absolutely incredible, and he is the sweetest man, you know, and he has been so generous to me and with me, and he gave me an amp. Like he gave me this amazing like Fender Showman amp head that's like the craziest thing from the 70s. Like, what? You know what I mean? He's such a sweet human. All these people are amazing. So those guys I love. And then of the new school, my friend Johnny Kimmock, I know, again, I just played this gig with Johnny Kimmock and John Medeski, my two Johns, but honestly, Johnny Kimmock, to me, is one of the finest drummers I've ever encountered.
And the stuff he does with Steve is always incredible.
Fantastic.
Steve.
His father, Steve Kimmock.
Oh, duh.
I love you, Baker. I love you so much.
I've seen both.
I used to back in the 80s, way back in centuries ago, I used to go see Zero every time they would come through Baltimore, and like every couple months they'd come through and play. I love that. They were.
Baker, don't feel bad because I just did the mental gymnastics, and granted I've had a bottle of wine, but she's like new school, and then she said Kimmock, and I was like, that's not new school. And then I realized she was talking about his son, and I was trying to piece it together.
Right. No, not Steve. Not Steve.
So I feel you, Baker. I'm with you. There's a little bit of mental gymnastics.
It was a bad setup.
Barry Baller in my stocking.
What other artists should we be listening to that you're listening to right now?
Oh man. I mean, actually I got a good one for you that, I mean, I don't know if you'll like it, but I'm obsessed with this guy whose name is Genesis Owusu, Owusu, and he put out a record recently called "Smiling with No Teeth," and to me, it's fucking like somewhere between like Thundercat and TV on the radio, and like it's really but goes way deeper than that too. It's eclectic, it goes hard. There's hip hop elements, there's electronic elements, and there's just like good songwriting in there. And so that's my most recent discovery that I'm very proud of, and I'm pimping him very hard.
I'm so jealous of people that meet or hear new music, though. It's like I like that question, Lama. I'm glad you did because you had an answer, but I always feel like that's an unfair question because if you ask me, I'd be like, I don't know. I've like Fish and Mo, like the most recent was Muse, but like
Fish put out an album last year.
I was like, oh, have you listened to Sigma Oasis? That's my new music.
Oh man,
did you guys listen to Paige's new album?
I haven't yet.
I
heard the one song.
It's good.
I like it a lot.
I kept thinking like that, I kept thinking like Chariots of Fire or something, you know.
I'm gonna have to listen to that tonight. I feel like I'm a bad wook.
Between like because he put out that record and Magner just recently put out like an ambient solo like electronic album and stuff, and I think they're I like that the keyboardists of these jam bands are like sitting down making ambient electronic music. I think it's fucking odd because I'm just a fan of music that sounds like that, to be honest. So like, bring it on.
Yeah. I've always been a big fan of Eno's music from Airports and his ambient stuff. Yeah.
Oh. Say no more. Say no more.
Is Air ambient music? Do you guys know the band Air or whatever Air is?
Air isn't like it has ambient elements in it, but that's an electronic band.
Okay.
In my opinion.
All right. Now I'm getting my bearings.
Yeah. I love Air.
I sleep to it now.
La Femme d'Argent. That's the record. Great bass.
What does that mean? Do you know French?
The orange.
It means the woman.
The orange woman?
It means fuck. The
Your
woman.
mom would be very disappointed.
My mom would really be mad. My mom is the head of the French department at Columbia University, so that's really,
holy shit.
Oops. Sorry, Mom.
And she's the coolest lady in the whole world.
Yeah, no shit. That's impressive. Columbia?
She's the coolest. She's the best. Yeah, and so like I was like raised speaking French a bit, but then like I kind of.
And then you found Fish, and you're like, "Fuck this French stuff. I'm going to music."
I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of cuts closer to the bone than you think, but yeah. No, I was kind of
like that song. Then I got high. It's like then I found Fish.
I was like that. We would go to Europe every summer just because like my dad's a philosopher, but like a French philosopher, and deals with all these like big, heavy French thinkers, and was friends with. I don't know if these names mean anything to you, but like Foucault and Lacan, all these like heavy French intellectuals, whatever, back in the day. So like he has a lot of like business in France and whatever. So like from age 5 to 13, we'd go to Paris and like the south of France and whatever for like a month and blah, blah, blah. And it was amazing and great. But I'm an only child. My parents are much older, and I would be there like hanging out with these French intellectuals like, like, and I had fun. They made it fun. Like it was all good. But then I turned 13 and I just went to my parents. I was like, you guys, this has been amazing, but I really would rather stay home and play music in my bedroom with my friends all summer.
That are my age.
Is that okay? And they were like, oh, of course. And they left me the keys and then they left. And I was like, this worked out great. This worked out great. So then I have yet to go back. Anyway, my French was better before age 13, but yeah, good stuff.
All right, time for my most random question, and I didn't really know a way to pivot to this, but I'm just gonna drop into it. You had a performance, I believe, and I hope I don't mess any of this up, with 2 children on America's Got Talent that were basically screamo kids. How did you end up in that situation? I watched that video today, and I remember those kids because my wife and I used to watch that show. Totally. And I remember that performance. I had no idea that was you because you can't really see your face or anything.
Could you tell which one was me? It was the one.
Oh, once you started moving, you could because you have a certain energy. Everybody else is like studio musicians are like, hey, I get paid to do this gig. And you're like, fuck yeah, this girl's awesome.
They literally said to me, they were like, for those listening who are unfamiliar, you should type into YouTube, you type in America's Got Talent. I think it's 2014. The band, just type in Dog Poop. That is the name of the song we performed on national television. Yeah, and there was a lovely, brother-sister duo named Aarlyn. That was the girl, Aarlyn, and Izzy, who is the boy who played drums.
Hey, you want to search for that? If you're paying attention, you want to search for that Dog Poop from America's Got Talent?
Yeah, pull that bad boy up. And then, I got cast as, how old was I? I was like 20. I was like 19 or 20, whatever. And I got cast, a friend of a friend, the guy Tomato I was telling you about who ran the rock school, somebody who was friends with him was like, oh, you have a young female bass player who would fit the role. And he's like, yeah, Karina and whatever. And let me tell you guys the best part about that. Actually, everything was the best part about that. It was the best shit ever. Are you listening? Somebody who's casting those things, I'm really available. Really.
If anybody else is looking for a female bass player,
I would be thrilled. And so I was so stoked out of my mind because we got to rehearse backstage at Radio City every day.
Cool.
Because they were kids, like the girl was like 6 years old. I have a bad barometer for that shit. The boy was like 9.
Yeah, they were young.
They were really young, and of course, so they couldn't focus for that long. So we kept getting called back for rehearsals. It was like
the ADD rehearsal schedule is like, all right, we're gonna rehearse for 5 minutes.
I'd be like, "Bye, mom, going back to Radio City Music Hall to rehearse," or whatever. And she was like, "Oh, damn, subtle flex." She didn't say that, but anyway. And I was so hyped on it. And then, I made all this overtime because they had us rehearse so much that NBC or whoever, what is it? ABC, NBC?
I think it was NBC, yeah.
So, and I still get checks for it when people buy the episode on iTunes. So I'm really? Yeah, I get a couple bucks. A couple bucks here and there.
Go out and buy that episode, people.
It's the best shit ever. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind buying that episode.
I figured we were going to plug stuff like your tour, music, but I didn't expect to be plugging America's Got Talent.
If you could all go buy the episode. No, it was the best time of my life. That was so...
It looks terrifying a little bit, though, because you have this apparatus and it's like sparklers or something, like just shooting sparks out of your mohawk.
They basically, and that wasn't clear when I took the gig, and so we would go there.
So they give you a disclaimer or like a what do you call that? A release form? Like, I will not sue you if I burn up.
Totally. For those listening, I did. That's probably a good thing to mention. I'm wearing a flame spewing helmet on my head, and I know.
You gotta get Kuroda that technology. When they come back, that has to be. I don't think they're gonna ever do anything else dangerous after the platform stuck, but maybe just to stick it. They're like, we're gonna wear flame spewing helmets.
That only became clear, like the day before the gig. They were like, "Oh, we have a great idea," and I was like, "Oh, my family's not gonna know it's me," and they're like, "Don't worry, shut up." You're fucking hired.
Don't worry, you're gonna get checks.
Let's just put this on your head, all right? And then it's like, have you seen this? Oh, she's gonna have to see this. It's unbelievable.
You were having visions of Michael Jackson doing a Pepsi commercial, huh?
Right. And I got the crazy thing. I literally, to me, because I was a huge Howard Stern fan at the time, still am, but I feel like I was really hitting my stride with my Sterndom at that time, and I got to at a packed Radio City to Howard Stern. He was one of the judges.
Did he like it?
No, he thought it was swag, I think. I don't think he liked it.
Yeah.
I think Nick Cannon liked it. Nick
Cannon likes everything, though.
I know. He's kind of like the guy who has to like all that shit. I was really hoping we'd go to the next round, you know what I mean? It's like, will I be called back? I did a great job. I can't believe it. Where were you?
Where could I have been?
We did it in the summer 2014. That's whack. You were here.
I was told. Oh, no. That was. I remember what was going on.
I'm proud of myself. Baker's like, you better prepare. And I was like, oh, I'm going to prepare, Baker.
I'll tell you what, nobody has brought that up ever before to me. So I
don't know why. It's incredible.
That is really good.
Well, I'm really, really, really impressed. You did a really good job.
Tune in to wook+live. We're going to ask Karina about the time she was on America's Got Talent.
Karina, please.
I hope she can find that video. What was it called? Dog Poop?
Dog Poop, America's Got Talent. Yeah.
I think we should watch it.
It's very findable.
Yeah.
I watch it like quarterly just to remind myself.
Go for it. I feel like maybe we should.
I can find it. If T doesn't have it, I'll find it.
I promise it's there. I don't know how.
I'm gonna be a bad host for a second. I apologize to people watching, but
so Karina, what are you hearing about touring? Yeah, I know you're doing shows, but what are you hearing about bigger bands doing tours?
He wants insider information on Fish. Are we going to Dick's this year?
Oh man, you and everybody else. You guys want that information, Katrina? Hey, Katrina, I don't know. What do you think?
I know somebody.
Think AC? What do you think? All AC, Katrina?
Oh, jeez.
I'm kidding, Great Wet. I'm kidding, brother. I don't know. All bullshit aside, I really don't know. I think you're gonna see. I'm giving you a hard time. It's very funny.
No, it's good.
No, but I think some things will come back and at various capacities and ways and masks and whatever. And I think it'll be different in different states. I think down south you'll start to see more of this cavalier sort of throw caution to the wind thing, hence stuff and things. But I think you'll start to see more kind of start to percolate down south, and you'll see videos and you'll be like, oh my god, is that legal? And then it'll be kind of legal, and then next thing you know, it'll like creep up. Oh shit!
Oh my god, I'm so excited!
Oh shit!
I'm freaking out.
Yeah, Josh Musser plays guitar in this.
No way!
Yeah,
I must have seen this.
Okay.
Oh, that was great.
I told my youngest has a guitar, and I told her she should write a song called "I Hate My Dad," and we put it on YouTube, and she'd probably get like 1 million views.
Listen, you could probably get to NBC. You'd be making that NBC mailbox money. That shit is dope.
Oh shit! You think we just flagged ourselves on YouTube? We're gonna get a copyright infringement for dog poop.
Oh really?
No way.
It's fine. We get those from time to time. You know who's the worst? Fucking Brad.
Fish.
Yeah, you cannot play Fish on YouTube. They'll flag you in a second.
It's tough. It's tough
It
out
is
here.
tough.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
Live.
Live.
Oh, just trying to get by. I
don't know why they get so mad.
I don't mind when they're like, hey, pay us your ad revenue or whatever, because we don't make any ad revenue. But like at least
pay you nothing.
It helps. It helps.
I don't know. It's a fine line because musicians should get paid, and obviously I want to support the band, but at the same time we are essentially a group of fans established to celebrate their music and to talk about it and nerd out. And you would think, based on the history of tapers and sharing the music and how they were established and built, that they would embrace fans playing and talking about their music. And they haven't. And I don't know if that's a conscious decision or management decision or what, but sorry,
it's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the Benjamins, man. All about the Benjamins.
All about the Benjamins, baby. It's all
I think the whole tour rumor thing is and I wanted to talk about this on the damn after show the other night because it's driving me insane. I got messages book your room at MGM, definitely happening. Dick's is 100% on. AC's happening. I just want you to be prepared. MSG's happening.
You should see the wook+ thread. We have a thread, and these guys every day they're like, "I'll see you at Dick's. We're going to Dick's." I'm like, I don't know, guys.
I booked my hotel room in Colorado.
I mean, I did buy platinum tickets for Friday and Saturday Dick's. Before they sold out, I got a little.
Look at this guy!
Oh, hey.
But
West Coast work sucks. Sorry, guys.
I can't see anything happening. I don't know why. I don't think it's happening. I don't know shit. I mean, she's more tapped in, but she's going to tell you the same thing I'm going to tell you, which is who the fuck knows.
Well, the jam band Illuminati aren't allowed to tell you that they're in the jam band Illuminati. You just have to know that.
I am in the shirts. I went into the shirts. Sorry.
You were on stage and played a sound check with Fish, right? And I've heard rumors that you're backstage at shows too because of your friendships. Were you up backstage at Bonnaroo 09?
Yes.
I was at that show. That was my first show, actually.
That was
my first
my
Fish
second.
show.
That was my second. That's beautiful. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That shit. I always harken back to that, like, you know, weekend, like, you know, one of these assholes on their soapbox. And I do definitely say, like, honestly, if it wasn't for that, like, I'd probably be a paralegal. Not gonna lie. You know, or whatever.
I was gonna be successful, but then I met Fish.
Like, I would have been making 6 figures. I would have had health care. But no, I chose a life of degradation and anyway, it's great. No, I kid. I kid, but you know, that changed everything for me.
That was a great weekend. That was a really fun weekend. Oh God, Travis, that's a long one.
Oh my goodness.
How do you do both?
Does Fish Tour play into your tour decisions? Like, do you purposely avoid scheduling around, like, so that you can see Fish, or
no? And like, it doesn't. So as much as I love to see Fish, we all know, been over 100 Fish shows. We love it, and
flex
always, yeah.
We've seen like 50 of them together, which
you
is
know,
the best.
That's that Illuminati shit. Yeah, no. So I love to go see Fish, but no, you always say I'd always rather be playing. I'd rather be playing than, like, you know, I have missed weddings, I have missed funerals, I have missed family gatherings, I have missed so much because I was playing. And I know, you know, one day when I'm 80, will I say that and think it's so cool? Like, who's to say?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't know. But either way, like, you know, there's something.
No, but that's why you've been successful, and why I think you're going to have continued successes, because it's about that passion, that love, and wanting to always be playing. It's like you hear those stories about Fish that, like, skipping out on parties so he could play drums, right? Like skipping out exams so he could play drums. And like, I don't get it. I haven't skipped anything, but I appreciate and respect that you have.
Totally. Well, thanks. Thank you. That means a lot. No, I mean, you know, and of course, in the past few years, we've had a few, like with Marco and with my own band, like, you know, a few like conflicts over the New Year's run, which of course is like, you know, I love to walk the few blocks from my apartment to MSG to go see Fish. Like, yeah. But then, you know, again, you'd always rather be playing. Always, you know, to play to watch is the great joy, no question. But to play,
yeah, playing's at a different level, though.
It's a whole other thing that reaffirms your sense of purpose and self in the craziest of ways, you know. So
I think that's a really solid point to stop on. I hate to say it, it's surprising. I just did a quick time check, thinking that we had another half hour, and we are up against it. And oh my God,
so fast.
I really hope, and I won't even put you on the spot live on national television, but I hope we get to do this again, because you're very easy to talk to and just absolutely brilliant storyteller.
Aww.
Baker, I obviously love having you on. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
You're essentially a host at this point. I mean, anytime you want to come on.
I'm glad that she brought me to you guys, and you guys are really just lovely, each one of you, especially you in the middle, who just
who we never got to see. Yeah, sorry about that.
Delightful for the few minutes that I met.
Next time, exactly. See, that's why we need a part 2. So next time I'll be the main one.
If he could grill me, am I pointing? Does it look right to other people?
Yeah.
If he could grill me next time, just come up with your questions. I'll, you know, I do love to talk. So thank you guys so much.
Next time on wook+live, T interviews Karina.
Solo show.
If anybody does want to see more of his face and happens to like comic books, at 9:30 we have an episode of Panels and Frames coming up, and T will have lots to say.
We're having girl time. We're having girl time.
Well, not you guys. I'm talking
not you
about
guys,
our huge,
our nerd
audience.
Fest. Yes, our nerd fest audience.
People like that shit.
So before the credits, we have a Hogan slogans that I was supposed to set up, but things got out of control. So this is gonna be an out of context Hogan slogans segue into credits. Thanks, guys. I love you all. I will see you next time. Thank you, Karina. It was really great talking to you.
Pleasure. Thanks so much for having me. Seriously.
I'm the Sultan of Slogans, Kevin Hogan, here with Hogan Slogans. You're trying to start a campaign to get people to vaccinate against the wook flu? I got a slogan for you. Before you hit the lot, get your shot. We got boxes of slogans.
If you need a slogan, you need it right now. Come on down to Hogan Slogans. We're open till 9.
All right, one more. I'm the Sultan of Slogans. My name is Kevin Hogan. Kevin Hogan here with Hogan Slogans. You're starting a campaign to get the people we could go with. Without this vaccine, a virus will get in your body and kill you. We got boxes of slogans, but that's not going to work. I got a slogan for you. One small stab in your arm, one giant stab in the eye of wook+live.